Good afternoon, everyone, or morning, as the case may be, wherever you might be. This is Reverend Kit Holmes, and it is One Mind Wednesday. It is Wednesday, December the 7th, 2022. The title of this today is Your Timing is Perfect. Yesterday here in Northwest Michigan, in this little town that I live in, was something happened that hasn't happened in a little over 20 years. We have regularly, about 9 to 10 months out of the year, we have freighters that come in and out of the channel, and that's pretty normal happenings, sometimes once, sometimes twice a week. Yesterday, there were 2 freighters in the channel at the same time, which is the first time that's happened in, as I said, about 20 years. So the idea here is your timing being perfect. There were a lot of things that had to happen in order for that to happen yesterday. There were the coordination of goods and products that needed to be loaded on one end. There were availability of supplies on the one end. There were people who had to know how to order those things. There was the coordination of where the freighters were located at any given time on the Great Lakes. There are weather conditions. The ships don't just sit there waiting to get an order and go do it. They are moving all of the time. Port availability, the bridge operators. There are 2 drawbridges here in this little town that have to be in position knowing when these ships are going to come in. So there's a lot of planning, there's a lot of specific goals that need to happen. People who know how to manufacture those things, people who know how to order them, as I said, people know how to load and unload them from the ships, people who know how to pilot those ships not only on the Great Lakes but on the very narrow channel coming in from one big lake to another. So the other part of this is that all of that coordination, all of that planning, everything goes into place. Once those ships leave port, it's a moment by moment adjustment. Anything can happen. Of course, anything can happen along the way. But once that ship has sailed, right? Once that idea is out of the gate, a lot of things have to be, okay, it's out of my control. It is our job to set goals, to set priorities, to have dreams, to put them in motion. In other words, our job is to launch the ship. And after that, we keep a hand on the wheel, but we have to be willing to adjust from moment to moment to moment and keep focused on the desired outcome. And trust that the desired outcome is being coordinated in hundreds and perhaps thousands of ways that we have no control over. You see where I'm going with the metaphor here, right? I'm going to try a screen share. It may not let me do this today. I'm getting I'm getting a message that may not happen. So I'm not going to take a chance of losing the broadcast here. So here we go. We have to trust that when we get the little intuitive hits, when we get the little nudge, when we get a thing that says, boy, maybe I should make that phone call or check an email or send a text. Maybe I need to go back in the house to grab a jacket. How often has that happened? And you ignore it and you find out later, yeah, the weather changed suddenly and you needed a jacket. And sometimes we get a nudge that says you might want to have a backup plan. A lot of times when we are going for our dreams, it's like, whoa, here's this doubt coming and saying I better have a backup plan. Our work here is to make sure that we are listening to the deepest desire of our heart and staying focused on the end goal, so that if there's a little bit of doubt that comes in that says, oh, something happened, I'm off track, I'm not doing the right thing, I better have a backup plan. Our job and our practice is to make sure that we're not just going into fear and listening to an old ego pattern, an old paradigm that wants to pull us back into the familiar. It's challenging work, right? So, but we can do this. We know how to do this. We don't quit. We don't panic. We don't retract our trust when the first bit of something goes a little bit sideways. We adjust, and we adjust. The key to our faith in this, the key to our trusting the process of spiritual law is understanding and accepting that no matter what, Spirit's timing is always perfect, even when it doesn't look like it to us. Our life's purpose and passion might take 20 years to manifest. It might happen in an instant. Our dreams will and do unfold immaculately and immediately if we expect them to. There's that little element of expectation. Our dreams will also unfold chaotically or with struggle and strife and if we have a belief, if that is the ship that we launch, that the belief underneath that is that things have to be difficult and challenging and take forever. We can choose to affirm, and I invite you today in One Mind Wednesdays to affirm often. Say this throughout the day: my timing is always perfect. I'm always exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing what is mine to do. Those are great, simple affirmations to get in there. Those are your tools. One of my favorites is right people, right place, right timing. No matter what is going on, my faith and my trust goes into knowing that the universe, that spiritual law, that one mind, that infinite intelligence is always working in my favor. So I affirm that. So I invite you today to hold that. Hold that for yourself. Hold it for others. Perfect timing. I am always in the right place at the right time doing what is mine to do. Right people, right place, right timing. And so I wish you, hold for you today, perfect timing, smooth sailing, and joyful, love-filled adventures. This is Reverend Kit for One Mind Wednesdays. Remember that we are all a part of that one mind, which means we're all in this together. I love you dearly. I will see you next week, Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And thank you for sharing this. Check out some of the hashtags below. Thank you for stopping by today. See you soon.